Welcome to 75 Stories, a podcast created to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, Minnesota.
Hi, my name is Abby Brula. I have been attending Normandale Church since 2018 with my husband, Jesse. At the time we started attending here, we had just gotten engaged. When my husband, my now husband, Jesse, and I first got engaged, we were attending a church not too far from here. When it came time for us to pick a wedding date and talk to the church about getting married in the church, we found out some things about the church that were surprising to us and made me very uncomfortable with the idea of getting married there. So we kind of started from scratch, and honestly, I think we just drove by one Sunday and decided to check out the church, and we really loved it. The part that I remember vividly from the first service we attended here was the welcome statement. At that time, we read the welcome statement every Sunday. It was at the top of the service, and that just really resonated with me. That meant a lot to me. I loved the traditional worship, the organ, the sanctuary. Felt a lot like the church that I attended growing up, so it felt I felt very at home here. The other thing I would note is the first Sunday we attended here, Pastor Paul was preaching, and one thing to know about Jesse, my husband, and I is that we are on polar opposite ends of the political spectrum. And when we started coming here, we were smack dab in the middle of the beginning of a pretty tumultuous time politically in our country. Church was important to both of us, but we really wanted to find a place that we could be together and that would feed both of us. And so between kind of the traditional worship and the welcome statement, and I don't remember what the subject of Pastor Paul's sermon was that week, but it resonated with my husband. He loved it. We left and we decided this is a place we want to visit a few more times and see if this is where we might want to go. We just kept coming. And so this just became our place of regular worship. It was not too long after Jesse and I started attending Normandale that my extended family started to join us and trickle in kind of one family at a time. When we came to Normandale, my dad was kind of torn because he really wanted us all to attend church together as a family. But Jesse and I knew that this was going to be our church community, our church home for a long time. And so we kind of not dug in our heels, but we were just certain that this is where we were supposed to be. And so we invited everyone in my family every week. Hey, we'll be at church on Sunday, 9:30. Come join us if you want. But my dad, we got my dad to visit a few times, and he just loved it. He felt welcome here. He loved the music. He loved the community. He loved the preaching. It, again, felt very much like the church that I grew up in as a child, where he raised all of us. He was a really active member there. And it was a really vibrant community, and that's how this felt. Everyone else just kind of followed suit. Myself, Jesse, and our son, and my other sisters, their kids, my dad, and my cousin Zach, who all attend regularly. To a young family like mine that is looking for a faith community, I would say something that my parents used to tell me when I was growing up, and that is that one of the most important things for my parents, when we're raising children, is to have a safe and positive community of other kids and adults that can be your kids' community. So when I was a kid growing up, I formed relationships with a lot of other adults besides my parents at our church. And that meant a lot to my parents, and that helped I mean, they were part of my raising, my upbringing, and I knew that I had other adults that I could trust, that I could go to with questions or problems, even when I didn't feel comfortable talking to my parents. So my son just turned 5, and as we're raising him up, that's something I just think about all the time, is I want him to feel surrounded by people that love him and want to see him be his best self. And what better place for that to happen than in our faith community? And I would say, please come check out Normandale, because this is a place for everybody. And there are so many young families here. I feel like since we had Maddox, and even after COVID, as people have started coming back to church physically, it astounds me the number of young families that come here. Sundays are loud at this church, mostly because of us in the back row, but it really feels like a place where any age, any background is like really truly welcome here and supported. And it's just a really, it feels like a really unique thing to me. So the thing that gives me the most joy about being a member of the Normandale community is that this is a community where I feel like all the love that I want to share out in the world, I can filter through this place. Normandale is engaged in the community. It's engaged in the world. It's engaged with kids and by way of the Blessing Place. It's there are so many ministries and honestly so many community needs, especially in the time that we're in right now, that I feel like just showing up here on Sundays is a way for me to just love on the world a little bit. And at the end of the service, when they say go in peace and serve the Lord, I don't walk around thinking, I guess, about serving the Lord all the time, but I do take that with me when I go out the door, and I think, okay, like this is how I want everybody I come into contact with in the next week to feel, just surrounded by love and maybe exhausted and maybe have a million other things happening that are maybe not so great, but kind of at home with a body of people that help you feel safe and loved.
We are so glad you joined us today here at 75 Stories. If you'd like to share your own story, please contact Christy Shepard at kshepard@normluth.org. Join us next week for another story, and share this podcast with your friends and family. We are all part of the Normandale community.